Okay, I'm irked. How do you spell irked? U-R-K-E-D? Irked? Annoyed? Angst? Irritated? June 10th of 2025. I'm going to have to go into a quote-unquote power can. Power canning? That's where you do multiple things at one time for a period of time. Back to back to back. Why? Why do I have to do that? Well, my deep freezer, which is 30 years old, you can't find them like that anymore, finally blew out on me, apparently. And it's coincidental, I would say, that it happened at a time where Marina is going to be at her mother's house for 2 weeks helping her mother do something, where within a few days Marcane's going to go off and do something on some job somewhere. The point is, I have access to the basement for 2 weeks on my time schedule without being harassed, because I'm being intrusive, I would think. Because that's, I haven't been down there in eons, people. And I've been wanting to get into that freezer for the last 6 months. But we know how that's been in terms of whatever. Anyway, it's a fair-sized freezer. And it has a fair amount of meat in it. Good meat. Expensive meat. Yeah, so when I say power can, that's exactly what I mean. Yeah, I'm going to be power canning something for a little while anyway. I give myself 5, 6, 7 days, maybe. Just that, for the most part. As I'm baking up here, because it's so hot in the house, and I'm tired, and I'm not getting no love. No. Things are like whatever. Andre's been getting a lot of free time, and like today, for example, he went out and he did his thing with his uncle, had a great time in terms of, he learned a few things, and he enjoyed what he was doing, and he doesn't mind doing it, and he thinks he'd like to try and do it again, and I'm like, fine. And they called him down for dinner, and I said, okay, well, now that the freezer is no broken, I got my own crises here. We're talking thousands of dollars worth of food here that, is going to be either thrown out, given away, one or the other, or I'm going to can it. Well, obviously I'm going to try and can it, right? And as I worry about if my jars that I can before are even downstairs, because I don't know from one thing to the next in this fucking house, and that's just the reality of it. But I'm not supposed to be concerned about those things. I'm just supposed to be, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to be, people. Anyway, Andre was getting all snotty and snitty with me when I asked him to go downstairs into that freezer, since he was going downstairs to get quote-unquote food. Just go into that freezer, because I need to know what's going on with that freezer, because apparently it started smoking today. A day before Marina leaves the house for 2 weeks. Okay, so it just starts smoking all of a sudden. But I had a sneaky feeling that because nothing was moving in it, right? And it, a freezer, it needs sometimes to be defrosted a little bit. I couldn't do that because I just couldn't get really to the food. It was always a fucking issue, man. Everything's an issue around here. I swear. Plus, it's old. I'm going to put it on that it's 30 years old, and Uncle John came to poof in a puff of smoke. Auntie Shemaine, Uncle John, poof in a puff of smoke. Hey, just came by to say hi, and let's retire this deep freeze because they see it as an albatross downstairs because it's taking up space and it's in their way. So it's not like they wanted it there, right? I couldn't use it, even though it had food in it. And I've been like talking to Marcane for the last 6 months, like we need to start using up that food. You know, Andre did his sushi last Wednesday. I told him, you need to tell Marcane you need to start taking the meat out of there and make your meals, your weekly meals with that meat, because, you know, I bought sirloins, roasts, and those kind, and grind it up to make my own hamburger. So there's like, it's not ground up hamburger that's in that freezer. It's ground up freaking beef, real beef, tallow in jars, just whatever. So it's not like I haven't been wanting to use it, because I have been, because I knew that freezer wasn't doing anything. And, you know, freezer sits for a long time. It starts to grain ice on the side of the freezer. So, you know, I was afraid that would accumulate so much that at some point it might compromise the freezer. And it did. Or it's just the fact that the freezer is 30 years old. But those things can last 50 years, for crying out loud, the old ones, the old models, right? I bought that one in 1995, that when I moved into Wally's house. That was the first thing that I bought when I moved into Wally's house in 1995. Talking to the camera.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
And just do Amari's food quickly, okay? And anyway,
His food's in the fridge.
Okay, we'll just feed him first, okay? And then after I moved out of Wally's house, after living there for 8 years, I ended up buying another one as I moved into that shanty shack. But that one only lasted a year. The compression motor, the compression within the motor blew, and once those blow, the whole deep freeze is useless. So the second deep freeze I bought, same size, only lasted 1 year, where this one's been lasting for 30 years, right? So with it being 30 years old and nothing moving in it, and the ice accumulating on the inside of it, you know, I was concerned, right? So anyway, I'm not going to blame...
in the back right now?
What?
So
what?
Like the one that's like in
yeah, that one, yeah. So now that one's done, we're going to be going through all the deep freezers, because I've got bones and stuff. So I'm going to be making bone broth downstairs, and then... Just before you stick your fingers in there, make sure they're clean. I smell that perfume crap on you, so you might want to smell your hands and make sure there's nothing of that crap on your fingers before you stick it in his food.
There isn't.
Well, you obviously put something in your hair or something. Go wash your hands before you put your...
Good.
I can smell it.
My hands are fine. I checked them already.
It's not about that. Just rinse your hands off before you put your fingers in. They smell. They smell. Put your nose to it. You can smell it. Your fingers. Smell your fingers. You can smell it.
They don't.
I can smell it. Just rinse off your fingers. This is the stuff that irks me. I asked Andre, when they asked him to come upstairs or come downstairs and get some food, I said, Andre, please, just go into that freezer, bring me up 1 jar of tallow. It's a 1 pint size jar of frozen beef fat in it, and 2 jars of peaches that I did 2 years ago with fresh freaking peaches for Amari, but I haven't been able to get to them, okay, because of the issues that I've had downstairs with the attitude, okay? It's all about attitude. But besides that point, we were planning on starting to use it, okay? I've asked Andre for the last month, every now and then, please bring it. Never happened, because, you know, whatever. So, okay, the deep freeze finally blew. I don't know if he's going to like that.
Maybe
What did you put in there that's fishy?
That fish.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, why don't you...
Egg.
Okay.
And mayonnaise.
Okay. Okay.
banana.
Okay. Okay. Give him a taste.
cream.
Let him start with it small because I can taste the fish.
Yeah, the fish is strong. I don't like fish. Except for black
It's
cod.
good for him. It's a kipper, right? That one, I don't know. Just start small with it because he might not like it. But he likes fish. So it's hard to say.
Yeah. He likes the fish that Marina and Marina make.
Yes, I understand that. Just start very small with him. And give him intervals to swallow it. Because he likes to hoard food in his mouth sometimes.
Did you go in the sewing room today?
Do you have milk in case he starts gagging?
No, because we can't.
Go get the milk so if he starts gagging on it because he doesn't like the taste,
We are out of milk.
then give him some juice, anything to wash it down.
Water?
He won't drink the water.
Water with the powder kind of juice.
Anything that's tasty.
Dang.
And there's milk downstairs, is there not?
Yeah, there is. I have to go get it.
Right.
I'll
Okay.
get it tomorrow, okay?
No prob. Okay, you can see I'm angst. I'm irritated. I'm irked here, okay? Because, okay. So anyway, let's just take it for face value and see it as a blessing in disguise. Because it's been bothering me for months that this might happen. And I was trying to prevent it by encouraging people to start thinking about using it. And it just hasn't happened. All right. Anyway, the compressor on the deep freeze blew. Fine. It's an Albatross. They don't want it downstairs, taking up space. I don't need to be worrying about it blowing its fuse, sitting there, nobody noticing about it, and then they start smelling something, open it up, and find out that the thing has been broken for 3 weeks as everything rotted inside of it. It was better that Marina seen the smoke today, unplug it, let me know, so that when Andre finally did go downstairs after arguing with me about taking out 1 jar of tallow from the freezer and 2 jars of peaches that I froze for Amari 2 years ago, people. Because I bought a big box of peaches and froze them fresh as I was making that tallow, as Pastor Granny was giving me all that beef fat. I have to deal with it now. Because within the next 3 days it's going to be unthawed. And I'm not in the mood to be throwing out another $1,000 or $2,000 worth of freaking food here. As people want to argue with me and call me down.
Someone moving in the garage. I just heard metal.
Well, maybe run out there and go see because it's very freaking late.
Should I bring my BB gun?
Yeah, do something.
I gotta bring my BB gun. Grab this one, bad BB. I'll bring this.
Hurry up because they'll be gone by the time you show down there. They're probably listening.
Oh, they are. You better be scared because I got a BB gun ready.
So anyway. I have a power can to do. Honor arguing with me to get. I wanted to see. I just needed to see. Because I asked my son after he told me, I said, well, did you open it up? Did you see what was going on? Oh, no, we haven't opened up. We're just keeping it cold inside. Well, yeah, but for all you know, things could have melted in there by now and you just didn't catch a clue, just right? You know, I need to know before I get up in the morning because it's not like I'm prepared for this. And you see, that's the beauty about canning. So we got to look at this video as a solution for a crisis that could occur within 1 year of buying a freezer brand new and having it click out on you because they make lousy products now compared to what they made 30 years ago, where you could buy a deep freeze and it would last for 30 years, where some of these deep freezes can last for 50 years. Okay. Mine happened to last for 30. I'm arguing with him to go get me these 3 jars. And he knows, well, you could do it tomorrow. Because he was, he's been running around, doing things for everybody else, and then he comes home and he dumps on me. He gets all rude to me and shit.
Well, whoever it was is gone now.
Okay. Is he eating that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, well, just give it to him in small bites. Okay? I don't need to be springing into action here with a heart of steel right now. So better to go slow and make sure he eats it versus trying to rush him with it.
Oh, I'm not rushing him, don't worry.
Okay.
I'll never rush him this time.
He doesn't mind fish, but it's not like he prefers, like he loves salmon.
Fishy taste.
Huh?
It's a strong fishy taste.
It's a fairly strong fishy taste. You could add a bit more mayonnaise with it if you'd like.
Yeah, he's eating it.
As long as, yeah, but just do it slowly. See, I have to repeat myself. Anyway, he started getting all... Because, he's being snippy. Right? He's... Yeah. He thinks he can come and just bully me. Because he sees other people bullying me. That's what it is, people. So, arguing with him. And then Marcane phones up and starts... I told him, get off. This is not no freaking pissing contest here. Like, stop trying to make Andre, like he's the fucking victim here. No. I'm the one sitting up here all day by myself with Amari, not being able to do anything because, I can only move so far with him. And he's just like, whatever, like, fuck, man. You just like fucking stupid. And then I'm asking for something simple. Bring me up 3 jars from the freezer so that when I get up in the morning, I have a battle plan. I have a big deep freeze to empty out with very little wastage. And I've only got maybe 4 to 5 days, 7 days.
You have his tooth, right?
Yes, I have his tooth. I'm giving it to Tisha so she can put it away and save it for life.
Give it to Tisha?
Yes, and I asked her to come by every week and help me check his teeth every week now that he's,
Okay, good.
yeah, now that he's losing his teeth. Because she can see better and she can stick her fingers in his mouth and wiggle around. So anyway, I'm talking. Yeah, well, I stuck my finger in there today and he didn't bite me today, so.
Okay, that's good.
He'll learn. Okay.
Today?
What?
Any loose teeth?
Well, I couldn't notice. I didn't keep my fingers in his mouth very long, but he's going to have to get used to it.
Okay.
So anyway, Mari's losing his teeth, so we got to make sure he doesn't choke on it when it... So, yeah, like, just stupid shit like that, man. That doesn't make no sense. They won't even appreciate it. If shit hit the fan and that was the only thing they had to bloody eat.
Can Amari eat, what's it called? Shrimp.
There's no calories or nothing in shrimp.
Okay, so now?
There's no point. Unless it's just with a meal that you throw in one, that's okay. He can eat them, but it's not something you want to rely on.
Okay.
There's more calories in what you're giving him than shrimp.
Okay, what about the vegetables that's in my curry?
Well, of course, he can eat that.
Okay, so...
You can give him 1 shrimp for tomorrow and leave some vegetables, and you can even leave some rice behind and we can warm it up for him.
Okay, so with him some zucchini.
Okay, I'm doing a video, Andre.
Okay. Just making sure.
Okay, yeah. 1 shrimp will be fine, but that's not where the calories are.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, people, I don't have the energy to argue with people as they accuse me of being the one that's being argumentative here. Not a single person is going to do anything about that shit in that freezer outside of maybe throw it out or just leave it out on the road for somebody to walk off with it. Okay. So I'd like a little cooperation here, being that it just landed in my freaking lap, even though I've been wanting to deal with this so-called quote-unquote problem for the last 6 freaking months, and I've been asking people to start get in the freezer. I've been asking Andre for a month to go downstairs and get me freaking peaches from the freezer, but because it's just
I thought you said it was 2 weeks, not a month.
over the last 2, 3, 4 weeks, Andre, I've asked you a couple times, okay? This is what I was trying to avoid because I was afraid that the freezer had no room to develop ice around it.
Question, how did Marina know that?
She said she's seen it. It was the compression. I'm going to put it at, the thing was 30 years old. We got 30 years out of it. All it does is make me think about Uncle John and Auntie Shimei, but mostly Uncle John, because he was there when I bought it. Okay? And he, you know, that's a part of him, you know what I'm saying? So he came and, hey, you know, I'm still around. I told you, there's ghosts in this house, okay?
Yeah.
That was Uncle John's way of saying, hey, I'm still around. It's okay, Judy, don't worry, you'll get through it. I'm right here with you.
3 of them.
Huh?
3 of them.
Anyway, did he eat it?
Yes.
Okay, good.
He really liked it.
Good, I'm glad.
He's drinking his juice right now.
Okay, perfect. Now eat your food. Okay, so he's the one who's telling me you'll get through it. You know what you're doing. You know how to power can. I'm not getting no support from my son. I'm not getting no support from Andre when I simply ask him to get me 3 fucking jars and he wants to argue with it because he had a good day at work. He had a good day at work, but he's tired and cranky, so he comes home and he takes it out on me. So when my son phoned up, I said, well, you know, blah, blah, blah. He's entitled to have negative feelings. I said, what does asking him to get 3 jars from the freezer have to do with negative feelings? Okay? It was a simple request, right? It doesn't warrant an argument. It doesn't warrant you jumping on the bandwagon and making him feel like he's the victim and that you're siding with him so he can pick and choose sides because all of a sudden it's become a freaking pissing contest between 3 freaking jars. Like, come on. That's what I mean, people. I don't got time for this stupid shit. And then I just told him, fuck, fine, let it all spoil. I hung up on him. Throw it out. You like throwing out shit? Just throw it out. Come on, go ahead. Be a poor man in the end, because that's what you're building. No wisdom, no wealth. You think you got wealth? Yeah, right. Anyway, I'm just irritated. It's hot. I'm behind on things because I've been letting Andre have a lot of freedom, which...
Too much right now.
No, it's not too much.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Well, it's been a lot, but then we do as it comes. It goes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's kind of like, to me it feels like a little bit too much.
Well, because you're not used to it. That's why. But that's okay. It all positive things.
You don't really like it that much.
Pardon me?
I don't really like it that much.
Why? How's that so?
Being inside a lot.
You don't like being inside a lot.
I'm used to being inside a lot.
Well, yes, you're used to being inside a lot, but at the same time, you're getting exposed to... He doesn't like being out all the time because he's used to being inside, but he's getting exposed to... Different things. Bike riding.
And different,
that exactly, the bike riding and, you know, looking over bridges onto the Fraser River, going to the bank of the Fraser River because he rode a bike there that was electric, an electric bike that Brad has because he built it. He built it because he did that with his family when his family was growing up, like him and his daughters and his wife. So that's why he has extra of those bikes, right? Only the daughters, they don't want to do that no more. And Brad never had a son. So Andre's kind of like, you know, the son he never had, maybe. Right? Just wants to mentor him. So I already had the birds and the bees talks with Andre.
Which I kind of forgot about.
Okay, well, you didn't forget about anything. So just whatever, just life in general, you know, what to watch out for if there's anything to be concerned about, and just asked him if he enjoyed doing what he was doing when he went for the bike ride or mowing the grass on an electric lawnmower. He says he does, so, you know, I'm not here to hold him back. But what happens is he gets sometimes overstimulated, and because he's not used to it, and you have to remember other people are telling him what to do, And because he's so eager to please them, he does the job, whether it was today working with Uncle Marcaine out in the field, or whether it was Brad, working in his yard out in the field. He's taking directions, so when he comes home and I give him a direction, it's heels to the ground, and he don't want to listen. And then it turns into a argument, and because he knows how to trigger me so that my voice raises, next thing you know, he's accusing me of yelling, even though he keeps arguing and egging it on. It shouldn't take 15 minutes to ask him to go downstairs and get me 3 jars from a freezer that just broke down, so that when I get up in the morning, I have a battle plan how to deal with basically canning most of that food so it doesn't go to waste. So I'm like, okay, well, where do you start? Well, you need to know how frozen everything is, and just because Marcaine said everything was frozen in there, even though he didn't open up the lid to really look inside, I needed to know for sure. So that's why I asked Andre to bring me up the tallow to see if it was half melted, frozen, or what. Okay, I have several jars of frozen tallow, which is beef fat, expensive to buy, and you can't find it unless you can it yourself, okay? And that's just a fact. Maybe in the States you might be able to find something that's been manufactured, but you're not going to find that crap out here in Canada unless you do it for yourself. All right, so I'm not going to throw away out all that tallow. I worked hard on it. I pleaded with Pastor Granny to get me the beef fat. I kept going back and forth to Nestor's and was asking Dool, the butcher, to give me the beef fat just so that I could do what I did. I did it, and then I couldn't get into the freezer because it became too much of an issue because I was being annoying. Yeah, that's a fact. But it doesn't matter how I feel. Point is, the freezer finally gave out, and Uncle John, poof, said, don't worry, Judy. You'll get through it. You know what to do. Just because everybody else around you wants to be and then blame you because you say, don't talk to me like that. If you can go off with Marcaine and do this, and this, and this, and this, and this with him and listen to him. If you can walk off with Marcaine and Marina to someplace and go here and do this, and this, and this, and this, and this for them, and you can listen to them. If you can go off and do this with Brad and do this and this because he's telling you to do this and you can listen to them, why can't you listen to me when you come home? Well, I'm sore. I'm tired. I got sunburn. I don't feel well. Yeah, okay, fine. No, I understand that. I'd be a little worn out too after everything that you've been doing for the last couple of weeks. Doesn't give you a right to come home and take it on me, though. The world doesn't stop in here. It's not a pissing contest between mother and son, daughter-in-law, to see who Andre listens to more. I said to my son, oh, okay, so he gonna come home and do that shit to you. What would you do, Marcaine? Oh, I'd punch him out. Yeah, okay, yeah, easy for you to say. He doesn't talk back to them. He doesn't talk back to none of them. But he sure in hell talks back to me. All right, that's part of growing up. I understand that. That's why I'm irked. Yeah. It's my fault for having a deep freeze full of food that I couldn't get into for 2 fucking years. And now all of a sudden I have to can the shit up. Well, everybody doesn't want to listen to me, argue with me, and fucking then say that I'm the problem because I don't know how to talk. Yeah, okay. I asked you 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 10 times in a space of 15 minutes to go downstairs and get me 3 measly fucking jars downstairs so I could see how frozen they were. Because as it is, I think this is the way I'm going to start with this problem. My crises. That towel's looking good. Looking real good. Now I may be able to just transfer some of them and put them in the freezer up here if I take out some stuff there that's just basically fruit. And you can make smoothies for a couple of days.
I can make smoothies?
Well, if I take out those containers that have the orange and the oranges, the lemons, whatever.
Oh, that stuff.
Might be able to put some of those jars, those tallow jars, and put them in the freezer up here. But I think I have too many of them. So I'm figuring to water bath them. I'll bring them up to, that's why I wanted to know how frozen they were. Because for all I know, that thing could have blew out and stopped working and nobody noticed it. And the temperature maybe would have went down on it. I don't know. And things would have been rotten inside. Because I got whatever I'm going to do, I have to start tomorrow. And I'm not in a position to do it, but I'm going to have to make it happen. Like my counters are full because I'm doing other things in here. Right? And it's just, it is what it is though. That's why I say Uncle John. It makes me think of Uncle John came by to say, hey, I mean, what's the chances of Marina sitting in front of her sewing machine and then all of a sudden see smoke coming out of the freaking deep freeze? Like the behind it, where the motor is. Because if she wouldn't have seen that, the thing would have just clinked out. Poof. Right. And the shit, and she going away for 2 weeks. Mark ain't not around. Nobody would have noticed. That shit could have spoiled in there. It would be, what's that smell? Oh, open up the freezer. Oh my God. If that isn't a God moment, where God's letting you know that you need to get up on it ASAP, well, I'd say Uncle John made sure that I knew about it, so I deal with the problem, and I got a big problem now. But I know how to power can. It's just I don't have the energy, the stamina, the space, quote unquote. I had to buy more freaking jars, as if. But I need to make sure I have enough because I'm not sure what I'm dealing with here until I get in there. I know what something. I know that there's sirloin roasts in there, straight up beef that I grounded up that should be in packs, nice and flat, vacuum sealed everything. It's not fucking hamburger. My son arguing with me about that. Because I asked him, like, do you have, like, any, like, room in your freezer or, like, for some of this stuff, maybe? I don't know, because, like, anyway. Okay, that's life. That's just what happens. So, end of this video, maybe, right? Or I'll pick up tomorrow with it, one or the other. I just wish people would have more respect for me. Now, I don't appreciate my son trying to pit one against the other. Because if he had to live with Andre the way I live with Andre, throwing things around, leaving dirty dishes here, doing that, doing the thing, right, whatever I deal with, his tune would be different. Right? He'd be up on it. Let Andre get cheeky with Marcane and see how far Andre would get with his cheekiness. But this isn't about Andre anyway. Andre's been doing I'm really proud of Andre. Oh yeah. Apparently he did really good today. Whatever was going on, he worked with a lot of ropes. Learning about ropes and stuff like that. So, I said, well, you're like an apprentice. That's what you're doing. You're learning 2 trades. You're learning how to be a landscaper with whatever Brad is teaching you and those tools. And now you're learning how to be kind of like a lumberjack, right? Because you're dealing with trees and that kind of cutting them down or whatever. And, that, you know, right? Learning about the different types of ropes. And so he's watching his uncle climb up really, really high and, you know, dealing with the ropes. And apparently he did really good. And he held up good with his stamina. He got up early in the morning, and we had to plan, you know, Marcaine made him write a list. Right. You see, if I ask Andre to write something, it won't happen. But his uncle made him write, like, you know, print out the things that he needed to bring for this. And so Andre did it. That's what I mean. He listens to you, but he doesn't listen to me. And if he acted the way he acts with me sometimes to you, you'd be hollering. So don't call me up and say, stop fucking hollering, because you're annoying me, Mom. And I'd be like, yeah, okay, fine, no problem. But also understand that I got different problems than you have with him. Not that you have any problems with him, because you don't, because he comes home and he dumps it out on me. And then he's arguing with me because he can't argue with anybody else that he comes into fucking contact with because he's too busy trying to please them. Well, now I'm on a power can. Exhausted. But up for the challenge because we got Uncle John in the background with his powwow. All right, with the poof. But yeah, no, Andre's doing good. He's an apprentice of 2 trades. So, and he's adapting just well, just like when he mowed the grass here and the weed whacker blew out. If he wouldn't have been doing what he's been doing with Brad, had the contact with those tools the way he was at Brad's, under the supervision of Brad, then he probably wouldn't have been able to react as quickly as he did when that weed whacker caught on fire outside. Yeah. So now you know, when a weed whacker starts to smoke, you retire it, Andre. Now you know, when a weed whacker starts to smoke, doesn't matter. You retire it. Don't even give it a chance.
Yeah, my hand's burnt still.
Yeah, not that burnt, because if that was the case, you wouldn't have been able to do what you did today.
So what?
I said not that burnt, because if that was the case, you wouldn't have been able to do what you did today.
Yeah.
So, steady as she goes, right? And I get to go downstairs now because Marina's gone on for a couple of weeks, so I won't be irritating her and she won't be irritating me. So over the next couple of weeks, hopefully I'll be able to, well, first week is canning. That's the big mission right now. Okay, so I'll probably do a couple of videos on that for those who want to watch that, because it could happen to you at any moment, right? And if you want to be foolish and throw out $1,000 worth of food from your deep freeze when your deep freeze blows out, then go ahead. You can afford to lose that kind of money and quality of food. Whereas if you not sure what to do in a situation like that, well, you can watch my video and you can see how I go through it. So tomorrow, the first battle of attack is the tallow. Can you bring me that 1 jar of tallow so I can just show? I'm going to upload this now because these videos get long, right? And this is the introduction to the power can. Andre?
Huh?
Can I get that 1 tallow, please? And those peaches. I just want to show, and I'm going to upload this video and start fresh tomorrow.
You sure?
It's not a dirty secret, right? I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm going to be doing a power can. Even the peaches I can can up. They're fresh.
Which one do you want?
Both, 1 each. Even the peaches, I can water bath them. I'll be water bathing peaches and tallow tomorrow. And I'll freeze a few jars, but the majority of them, I'm going to try and water bath them after they unthaw.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it right back to you. Look how beautiful this is, people. Do you see how white that is?
Yeah.
Look how beautiful. Oh my God, that is so freaking beautiful. Oh my God. So, frozen, nice, okay?
Just give it.
Yeah, okay, and then look at these, yeah.
Thank you.
There's a fair amount of these down there, isn't there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
She said there's not that much.
Well, whatever I can
It
these.
might be at the very bottom of it.
I don't know, we'll figure it out. These are real peaches from the farms up in the Kootenays, okay? So, even, I don't know how many is there. Depending on how many is there, it's nothing to let it defrost. Throw it into a pot, warm it up, make a little bit of, what is that called? Light syrup. Put them in one-size pint jars. 20-minute water bath. You're good to go. So I got that covered. So that's what we're going to start with tomorrow. Is, well, I have to clear off the counters and everything. Wash jars, get ready. But yeah, we're going to start with the peaches because I don't have room for this, right? I have, right? I'll see, you know, if I can make a bit of room in this freezer up here for some of that tallow. I don't know how many jars I have. So maybe I can put half upstairs frozen, keep them frozen, and then as an experiment, okay, let the tallow that's frozen unthaw, and by towards the evening, like let it unthaw in the fridge, right? You don't want to leave it out, per se, I think. And then water bath it, just like I did with the brisket beef fat. Just seal the jars. You don't even take them out, just let them unthaw. Maybe take off the rim, wipe the rim with vinegar, and use new lids. That's what I would do. And then I'd water bath it to preserve the beef fat molecules to not overheat it. Hey? And depending on how many peaches are in there, jars of peaches, I'll just can them up. That's just another 20-minute water bath. And then start picking away at whatever's in there in terms of meat. I'm going to get into my deep freezer and look for bones. I should have bones around, so I'll look into the other couple of little deep freeze things. I'll just look for I'll look for bones. I don't care what kind of bones it is. I don't care if it's chicken bones, beef bones, pork bones, freaking lamb bones, whatever. I'm going to look for bones, and I'm going to make a whole bunch of bone broth. And as I'm making the bone broth, that's when I'll tackle the meat. I give myself 1 week. And then after that, the next week, I get into Auntie Shimei's room, do what I wanted to do in there a long time ago. I asked Tisha to help me with that. So hopefully that will go smoothly without any interruptions. And within a couple of weeks, it will be all done. And then I told Andre, now that you're downstairs cooking every Wednesday, for the most part, you can start learning how to use these home canned goods, the meat, with certain meals. I'll teach them how to use that food. In addition to whatever I'm doing upstairs with Amari and his little meals. It's just, I feel like crap. It's hot up here. You know, it's just going around in circles. Yeah.